Hey everyone, it's Larry here at LC Model Shipbuilding, and in this episode we're going to be doing a lot of lighting. So we're going to get the first class smoking lounge set as our area to kind of hold all of our wiring and all that good stuff, and then we're going to put our lighting into the veranda and palm court, and we're going to get our windows on and our handrails along the outside there. You can kind of see it behind me right here. And then at the end we kind of start onto the front half, but I didn't go too far into that because I'm going to end up making a second video, I do believe, for finishing up A deck. There's also a float test about midway in this because I did some lighting test, and I'll show them at the very end of what it ended up looking like when it was actually lit up. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and let's get started. Okay, our next windows are the two back here, which are called A05, or not called, but which are numbered A05. So we're going to get them out now. These are a little bit smaller, but I'm going to use the same basic concept, and we'll see how these go. So now these windows are, I know, I was gonna say, I know the what do you call it, other set that's made from China 3D page are awesome too, but I don't know if they include these ones, and I had already pre-purchased these beforehand, so this is what I'm going with. And so far, I mean, they look very good and convincing, so I'm happy with them. Alright, so obviously this one is a little bit smaller, actually a lot smaller, but the same basic concept should be fine to use here, with kind of just rolling it along the top and along the bottom, and then dropping it on. Yep, that worked. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the exact same thing with the window frame. We're going to put a little bit of glue right along the lip there. And then we're going to just take our little window here and drop it in. If it doesn't stick to my finger. That's the inside. Now, I need to push up a little bit from the inside because it's not quite in there straight. There we go. And down. And we're on. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to put the next one on, and then we got these little fans here, or vents here that go on, so we'll put them on next. I gotta find them and paint them quick. These might actually be them. Yes, they are. A37. No, they're not. It'll be these. So I gotta paint them black first. A37. Oh, okay, yeah, it's doubled. Got it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the next window in first, and then we'll get them painted up, and while they're drying, we'll start the stained glass, I suppose. Okay. I've been finding doing this that putting either the top or the bottom on and then lifting it off and then dropping it on my finger seems to be the best way to do this. So hopefully you can kind of see that in the video. I'm hoping I have it not zoomed in too close that you can't see what or how I'm doing this, because unfortunately you don't get to redo it. Okay, that one dropped in pretty darn perfect. First shot. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and paint these vents real quick, and then we'll start the stained glass. Be right back. Okay, so I have done all of the stained glass except for one. I left one for the video, but you can see it here. Came out good. I like it. So it's basically the same exact process that we did for the other windows. So the only difference is we have to cut our own glass out. Now this comes with the KA kit, or you can print it on the Titanic 1/200th Facebook page for free. But either way, get a set of the stained glass, because that will make your ship more accurate. Now there's 2 extra pieces, which is good because I need them in the interior, which I'll do off camera, but I just have to make sure I put them in. The KA kit does not contain any extras on this particular window, so got to be careful with them. So you have exactly what you need and nothing more. Just like before, I'm just dipping it in the gel glue, the CA gel, and then I drop it down on, pop it on with my finger like so, and I just want to make sure I got it straight on there. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to just take our toothpick, and I did a corner one here for the last one. And you just want to put it on the channel here. Make sure you don't get too much on there. I got a little bit more than I wanted to, but luckily I'm on the corner and it's got this big piece of plastic on the inside there, so no big deal. But oops, we're just going to go ahead and drop it in, get it lined up, and there we are. Window is in. So that completes all of our stained glass now. Except I put it in backwards. Uh-oh. Okay, so I got something there that's bugging me before I get this in there. I might have to re-glue, but just a little bit of the glass is edged over here, so I want to trim that off on there. Otherwise it would have not sat flush. There we go, much better. All right, and there we go, stained glass is in. So next up we got these windows, and then we got our railings along the edge there. One thing I missed doing, I'm gonna have to trim this off before I put this on, but I need to trim that flush and then touch up paint. And I think what I'm actually gonna do is repaint from here forward, because I want to trim this door off and this door off and use the KA door. So yeah, I'm gonna basically just tape off the front and repaint it. So anyway, we will be back. Okay, so here are our doors from the KA kit. Now, I do have the China 3D doors, but I believe they're mostly for the upper deck, so I'm going to hold off on using them for down here, and I will stick with the KA doors. So they simply fold, and then you glue it right on. Now, I did just go through and I drilled out some holes here, you can see. So I got two right above the veranda, one over here. It's going to be kind of above that. I think it's a machine room, if I'm not mistaken. And then two over here above the veranda. I did not put any here because this is going to have its roof that actually goes here, and I will end up putting lighting right on top of that directly. But oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong piece, but same concept. That's the right piece. So that'll have I'm actually going to use the kit lighting strip, and that will go right above there. And that will light and illuminate this room. And then for the grand staircase area, I have 1, 2, 3 here, one here, and one here on each side of the dome. And then these will go into the rooms that are there. So those are the lighting plans, and I will be using the wired LEDs. So we're going to put these all on and together here shortly, probably in this video actually, but they're basically just going to end up kind of coming down like that. I'll glue them in place, and that will be our lighting. So these are nice and thin. They'll fit right under the deck that's going over top of them very nicely, and we shouldn't have any problems. So I also drilled out the hole for the door, and obviously I'm going to repaint that area there, but that will go right over there like that, and that will be that. So I'm going to get that glued, I'm going to get that repainted, and when we come back we're going to put our windows on these sections right here, and yeah, we'll probably at that point be ready to start doing a little bit of wiring and lighting. Okay, so I already went ahead and put the glass panes in these windows, and basically just following the same technique. I already went ahead and painted this, repainted that, and that is done. So now it's just a matter of installing the windows, which is the exact same as we've been doing for all these other ones. Now these are a different shape, but it's the same concept. They still have a channel, and you're basically just getting the glue in there. Don't want to go crazy with it. And then we just drop our window in. Make sure you get the right side so the glass is on the inside. There we go. Perfect. And just for good measure, just like the other ones, I'm going to put a small dot on the top there, because again it has panes that kind of will conceal that a little bit. Okay. There we go. And you really don't realize how much more detail the KA and the China 3D doors have until you actually put them on. It's a crazy amount better than what was molded into the kit. It's probably not even really that visible by camera, but you can see it in person. So they are worth the trouble. Okay, there we go. Well, that's starting to look really nice. You know, from the side there, I'm very happy with that. Once the railings get on there, it's going to have a real good look to it. We're going to put the front windows on and the other 3 here, and then it'll be time to do some railings. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm waiting for my handrails to dry for a minute, but I wanted to start kind of playing with looking at the lighting. So this deck here sits right basically so that this is on there directly. So there will be very slight room that I'll be able to mount my lighting into the ceiling like I wanted to do. So this is going to work out perfectly fine. And what we're going to do, I need to leave enough space. I'm going to probably have to make a small channel here because I'm going to need a wire that goes over to the second class staircase, whatever you want to call it, that will go right here. And basically will sit here on the top of that deck. And there's deck lighting in here that I'm going to need to illuminate. So there's 4 nanos that will go in there basically, and then a light on the top to illuminate the inside. So we're going to have a wire coming over across to here, or I might even be able to slip it up through the deck. I'm going to have to look at that. But along the top here, we're going to work on lighting all of these, and then we're going to basically hide most of our wiring in what will be what would have been our second class smoking lounge, or first class smoking lounge. So let me grab some lights and we'll get started. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wire probably about, call it a foot long, which is way longer than I'm going to need. This is mainly just for testing purposes and all that good stuff, because eventually what this is going to connect to is one of those breakaway USB style charging cables, because I want to be able to have the decks separate, and that seems to be the easiest way. So I'm kind of stealing that move from Model Boat Guy, but they appear to work quite well. So that's my plan. I already have them, but until I'm ready to put the decks together, I really can't do it yet. So what we're going to do in the meantime, strip away some wire on both sides. We need hot and cold, or hot and negative, whatever you want to call it. And this will eventually end up being the actual wire that I use, you know, for the final build, just shorter when it comes down to it. So if you've seen previous video, back when I was lighting the B deck, this is similar to what I did there. Yeah, we'll be able to kind of get an idea of what we're doing here. So the nano lights, I went ahead and put a dab of yellow paint on them already, so they are kind of dimmed down, and that has seemed to give me the color and hue that I want for the 1912-ish lighting of the time. So what this is just basically a power supply that will plug into a charging block, or not charging block, but a power block, and this will give me power for my lighting in the meantime until I'm ready to permanently set it into the build. Now, the final build obviously is going to be battery operated, so it's going to go into a junction box and all that kind of stuff, which we'll do down the road here. Nowhere near ready for that just yet, but I still need to be able to make sure the lights work as I'm working on this. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in. And once it's plugged in, I'll be able to take a positive and negative from each side of the wire. So, got negative there. Got to figure out which one this is. So it's the third one in. All right. Now, they make these in multiple variations. These ones I purposely got that already have the resistor soldered in, because I didn't plan on dimming these down at all, knowing that they're going to be shining through the lights, or not the lights, but the stained glass and whatnot. So that's the brightness that they're going to be. And what we're going to do, I'm not really too worried about shortening them down or anything like that, because we're going to have it hidden pretty well inside the smoking room here. So all I'm going to do is put some CA glue on, and basically create a light, an overhead light, I guess you'd say. So now when we plug that in, I should have dried that quick. So now when we connect that, we should have light. And yes, we do. And you can see that's lighting up down underneath here, basically how I want it to. Now, the light is kind of sideways, so I'm going to try to move that a minute before it gets completely set in there, if I can. Yep, there we go. Okay, let's make sure it still works and I didn't poke it up too hard. Yep, we're good. So now it's a little bit more in there, a little bit more pronounced. So that that will work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the other ones in, and then we're going to wire them all together. So I'll come back and show that in a minute. Okay, so what I did was I brought the 4 positives together, and I'm going to make a jumper wire off of that. Oops. And this will power our next circuit in the chain, but I don't want to put more than 4 or 5 lights onto one circuit, so that's pretty much where we're at with that. So this one now will power the lighting back here, and here is our power coming in. Now, like I said before, this wire, which is connected currently to the power supply here, that wire will end up getting shorted down and connected to the what do you call it, the cell phone style charger. So now we're going to use some solder here. Just got to open it up. I guess I should have opened it off video, but sorry. Okay. So once we connect that, then we have our negative, which we're basically going to do the exact same thing, and connect that. So and then I'll heat shrink it once we get it all set. Okay. So there we go. Those are good and tight. Cut the ends off. And we'll grab a piece of heat shrink. And I might put a little bit of black tape around there just to cover in that last little bit. I might have to use my heat gun. Doesn't seem to be doing what it should. So in any case, I use a heat gun. But now we're going to go ahead and strip away a little bit of black wire sheeting. Come on. It doesn't really matter what length these are because they don't have a resistor connected to them. And last one. Come on. It might matter how long it is if I run out of wire to trim off. Gotta be kidding me. There we go. Okay. So now we're just going to take our black wires and get them together. I usually start with 2 and then run the other 2, so I have something a little bit more substantial to twist to. Okay, there we go. Now I need the same thing with a piece of black wire for basically a jumper, or I could use a solid metal bar, which I did that in the B deck. Up here I'm not, just because I don't have the lower deck right now to mount this to. So we're going to just do it this way, which will be perfectly fine as well. Okay, now we're going to solder that. Oh, I need my negative. Okay, now they should all have power. Yep. Okay. Okay, and then we'll just finish it off with a piece of heat shrink on top. Actually, I'm going to cut that down just a tiny bit. Then we'll finish it off with a piece of heat shrink. And again, I got to get my heat gun out to get it finally set. But there we go. So that's our first set, and we're going to do another set right behind it for the next 3. And then these wires are basically just going to be down in here. I know it's kind of messy looking, but because they're pre-soldered, I'm not going to go and take them apart, and you'll never see it through these windows, so it'll be all right. So I'm going to go ahead and continue running my lights and wiring, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're going to go down to the lake and do a float test, but I got everything kind of test fitted on here right now just to kind of check out how we look. I do have an issue in the back that I'm going to have to address. I have the wiring set, and it's like going down into the smoking lounge, second class smoking lounge, which is causing the deck to lift right here, and that will not work. So I'm going to have to readjust where I have my wiring going down in there. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just going to take some time to go back through and resolder everything. But aside from that spot, we're pretty well flush with where we need to be on the deck, all the way up through the front half of the ship. So I'm excited about that. The other thing that I'm noticing is the hull, and you can't really see it too well here, but it's kind of separated. Now, I do have Alex's hull support kit, but I did not plan on putting that in until we get the motors and everything going. But just kind of figured I'd give an overview because it's been a while since the rest of the ship has been on video. You can see my screw right here, and that will only be visible when I'm sailing it. I have the anchor that I'll be able to put down back on top of it when we're not sailing, you know, for display. But you know, for intensive purposes, when we're out there, it's pretty solid. I don't want to not have a support point there in the front. And then the aft section here for the poop deck, I did take the benches off, and I'm going to be replacing them with the benches from Cameron's Model Works, and also the poop deck docking bridge here. That's going to be replaced with the 3D one, which I have, and that will probably be a sooner than later video, so I can get that button back up. But anyway, just kind of wanted to give a quick show of what the rest of it looks like, because like I said, it's been a while since anybody has seen it. I know the hull, you know, I've taken a little bit of grief for the weathering that's done on it. Personally, I think it's pretty accurate to what the ship would actually look like. But, you know, to each their own. Definitely has a little bit of dirtiness going on it. But none of the upper decks do, because they'd be enclosed. And the only thing that we will do from a weathering standpoint, we'll hit the front of the decks right here, and obviously the bridge once we get that up and going. But, you know, from that weathering standpoint, that's pretty much what I want it to look like, because I want it to look like it's been outside, because it would have been outside. So we'll go down and float, and let's see what happens. Okay, so the float test is working. It's obviously going to need ballast. I can't obviously let go of it without it capsizing right now due to the upper weight, but no issues with taking on water, so that's exciting. So we're going to go back to the house and work on the handrails now for that room right there. Okay, so we did our float test. Everything is good there. Now I'm going to move back into the railings. I also just did my cleanup of the work area, and oh my god, it's so much better. I needed that so badly, so I'm quite excited about that. Now, the railings are, they run here, there's a lot of small ones here, and basically I'm just going to follow the instructions to put them on. I'll do a glue dip and basically just lay them on then with tweezers, and that will pretty much wrap up this part of the building. So let's see here, we need sheet C, and then we start with 48. I guess I'm going to start on this side. So it's basically a matter of finding the railing on here and then cutting it and basically doing a glue dip. So nothing too difficult when it comes down to it, but they are very, very, very tiny, so it's going to be fun. Now I'm also looking, because they have, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it against my skin, they have like a inner rail and an outer rail, so I gotta remember and kind of look if both pieces stay on or not. So I'm gonna check into that quick, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I went ahead and put the railings on. They're actually fairly simple, just small. I'm trying to focus here, sorry. There we go. And you can see how they kind of turn out. And then on the back I got the ladders on, and I did a light brushing of white over these grates here on the vents. You can't really see them that much, but they are there. So this is pretty much ready to go on to the ship. I just need to put some heat shrink on these connections, and we're pretty much ready to go. So we're gonna get that glued down, and then I'll move on to the front part. Okay, so one thing I got to do before we start the front half, and I think I'm gonna make the front half another video, honestly, is put the inside walls on for the reading and writing room, and I got to cut a window out, so I need to figure out how far that needs to be in, and then I'm gonna have to repaint this. In all honesty, I might have to make another video just with the length of this to do the outside deck chairs too, so kind of figure out as this is going, or I just don't make a video on it. Okay, so needs to be there. Come on. Okay, that's not irritating or anything. There we go. Try this again. Okay. So it needs to be about that size. So what I'm going to do is drill 2 small holes. I'm going to mark it about where it needs to be. And that's a full-sized window. So I'm going to mark it, then I'm going to drill 2 holes in here, or 4 holes in here actually, and then cut this out and then file it. Now there is a window that then goes over top of that area, and that is A23, so that would be this guy right in here. So I just need to make it big enough that it will fit basically that. So that's showing actually a little bit bigger, but that's okay, I can file it. So I'd rather go small and then file out. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill that and work on that quick. So let me get my drill here. I'm drilling a lot of holes actually because when I started thinking about it, it'll be easier to cut the pieces out from next to it, or not next to it, but in it. just trying to be careful too not to hit the wall on accident. There we go. Now let me get a piece of, not a piece, a different knife here. And we're basically just going to cut along where this hole needs to be. Okay, so I got a rough shape. Now I'm just going to file to get it straight. And it won't have to be perfect because the window will also help to cover it for me. Obviously, I'm going to have to do some repainting of this wall, but that's okay. I'll just tape off the ceiling here. Almost there. And I forget the reason the kit did not include this. I forget if maybe Olympic didn't have this window or something. I know there was a reasoning behind it, I believe. But obviously Titanic did. So, anyway, I think I'm going to actually go ahead and end the video, and we will make a second one for this structure, and then all the deck chairs and lighting all this, because there's quite a bit to light here and all that good stuff. And this will actually give me a good one to show how to do the strip lighting that I didn't show earlier when I did the back half there. So, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Please give a like and subscribe if you're learning anything and are enjoying what we're doing. So, I appreciate it very much. Have a great day.